those would typically run on 3 different warehouses, those workloads in Snowflake. So just seeing that just precipitous drop off to near zero on our credit usage is cool.
Cannabis data platform. We take sales information from point of sale systems at dispensaries across the US and Canada, help them with inventory management, managing their staff, and reporting on revenue, as well as supply chain tools. So they have collaborative relationships with their vendors.
What kind of problems are you solving?
Yeah, on the retail side, it's really just for kind of your standard BI with some special industry-specific flavors built in the dashboards. Monitor their sales staff, discounting, all sorts of those kind of retail type important things. And on the producer and processor side, they use our tools to get a real-time picture of inventory on the shelves at their retail partners. So at any time they can see how many of a certain product are sitting there. We forecast days of supply remaining, help them with reordering and really maintaining that kind of right size inventory level, what everybody wants.
Can you tell us about your stack and how everything fits together to serve your customers?
Primarily Looker, powered by Snowflake /DefDB. The data is sourced from point of sale, so we have built in-house integrations with all the cannabis-specific point of sales. Those are kind of scheduled jobs. A lot of .NET C# was the initial build for those. And yeah, I'm a .NET developer. It's fucking cool. Bunch of jobs that are always running, pulling in data, constantly updating inventory, getting new sales, new products and stuff. Those all initially land in a SQL server, and then those are picked up with estuaries, real-time CDC, dropped into Snowflake. dbt runs on top of that to get to our final tables, which are then through the semantic modeling in Looker. We host embedded dashboards for our users to use. Primarily embedded dashboards, although now a lot more using the Looker API to still leverage the semantic model, which I like, but using the API to get data out into mobile apps, into more traditional applications. We ended up with a pretty good data stack, but completely by accident, not through any great decision of my own. It was just, it just happened to kind of all line up at that point. Now it's just a matter of controlling Snowflake costs.
Yeah.
Just...
What is the breakdown of costs in Snowflake between ingestion, transformation of dbt, maybe like actual BI use case?
Previously, it was roughly 50-50 on the dbt, so just building the models and serving customers. Now the dbt plus the ingestion, it's up to over 80% of our total costs.
Yeah.
And now serving all those is definitely down a lot, significantly after the Greybeam changes. And we've had, I think now on to 6 months of consistent lowering of our credit spend every month. So we're on a good trend. Let's see how the streak continues.
Snowflake, for your use case, may not be the best sometimes for embedded analytics because you have hundreds of users. Can you explain a little bit about the challenge of actually using Snowflake in that scenario?
It is very easy to lose control of credit spend, and especially in an embedded kind of analytics like with what we do. And it's kind of limiting on the concurrency, which is also important for us in embedded analytics. We don't, not just one person looking at a dashboard, an internal dashboard. It's hundreds of users trying to load that, and scaling up the warehouses helps for sure. We could go multi-cluster, then that's an enterprise plan upgrade, which doubles all our costs, which is not ideal. Looking at other things, ClickHouse Fast seems fun to use and interesting, and but we don't also have any time to migrate over. There's no path to realistic migrating a warehouse. I can't even imagine embarking on that with our small team and resources. And
what did you do to optimize some of the BI spend or embedded analytics spend?
We've done a lot of things to try. Looker, the derived tables, the persistent derived tables. They also have some smart aggregates on there. I forget what it's called, but it's like a date level automatic aggregating. And so it builds kind of temporary tables to optimize those queries to get faster, but then you have the build time there. Partitioning better, of course. Rearranging some of the Looker models to do better queries, really simplifying those. We tended to do one model to rule them all, where most people are just looking at sales by day, and those could be vastly simplified in smaller tables and just do a lot less work per query. So really looking at those. I did make a Snowflake script scheduled task that runs every 10 minutes to looks at the query count from a warehouse for the last 10 minutes, and if it's kind of below a certain threshold, then it actually sizes the warehouse down. And then as more queries come through, it sizes it up. Because if we were running, say, a large warehouse to service Monday mornings when it's busiest, then the handful of queries that come in Sunday morning, not necessarily using a large warehouse, but sizing all the way down to an extra small helps some.
How about on the ingestion and transformation side?
A lot of dbt optimization, just the models, the SQL, of course, making sure tables are sorted by the best cluster key you can for Snowflake. And then a lot of tweaking the schedule in dbt. Like instead of every 2 hours, but it doesn't really need to happen at 10 p.m., you start walking those back Sunday mornings at 3 a.m. We don't really need to do it, so we can skip those, and you just start just messing with that stuff. And that's of course a balance of data freshness for the customers. So being mindful of that, using the new Snowpipe streaming where we can for loading data in. Estuary is pretty good and efficient loading data in. It's those merges that take some time. So figuring out what tables we just write the changes to and dedupe down the line has been one. Materializations in dbt, using incrementally materialized tables heavily throughout the day. Of course, no need to rebuild all of history. Should something be a view upstream, having it as a materialized table, does that help downstream? All those stuff, but they interact so much with each other. It's building a lot of stuff, so really hard to kind of have a lot of confidence that something's going to make a terrible amount of difference without some downstream effects where it just slows everything down.
It sounds like outside of just doing query optimization, there wasn't really many other levers you were able to pull to drive that down.
Yeah, not many. Not really anything else.
And like, why us over some of the other providers out there?
Some of the others, if it's optimizing how often your warehouse is on, we shut everything down after 1 minute anyway, but I didn't feel like they could make that much of a difference. And with Iceberg and data portability and things going on right now in the space, the idea of routing your query to where it's just going to be the cheapest and the best at executing, I think that's kind of the direction things will move or can move. How Snowflake separated storage and compute, now having a totally different form of compute able to be routed pretty simply is just sounded kind of cool.
What were the kind of results that you were seeing maybe early on, and then as we evolved until we hear where we are today?
I mean, definitely just saw when we turned it on with 3 separate products, so we were able to do one at a time, test it out, the less mission critical stuff first. Those would typically run on 3 different warehouses, those workloads in Snowflake. So just seeing that just precipitous drop off to near zero on our credit usage is cool.
You mentioned a little earlier in the conversation that migrating to an entirely different warehouse, or even like separating your embedded analytics use case to ClickHouse or even Honeybird would be a huge lift.
Yeah.
Right? What was the deployment process like? In using Greybeam, like, was it easy? Was there a migration?
Yeah, no migration. Pretty simple. Just changing the connection string on our Looker connections, just to point over to you guys, and being able to switch it back and forth if we needed to. Obviously have that control pretty easily in Looker to switch to a different connection quickly if something happened. But then even within the Greybeam platform, to be able to turn it off and just seeing some weirdness, not sure on where the problem's coming from, just a quick switch off, route everything to Snowflake and further investigate. Pretty simple.